Hey, welcome in.
Welcome to the Arrowhead Addict podcast.
We are here coming to you live.
Let me tell you, the dopamine, it's flowing.
I am damn excited. Damn excited.
We are so excited to be joining you guys tonight.
Oh!
Well, how you doing, man? Patrick.
Will Sterling.
Yeah.
Super Bowl champion, two-time Pro Bowler, and Trent Green. Trent Green, how you doing?
Hey, what's going on, guys?
Oh, he picked it up! He picked it up! He's gonna score!
And we'll see you next week. But until then, as always, go Chiefs. Welcome into the Arrowhead Addict podcast live on Radio Row at the Super Bowl. It's Cardigan Day here at the Super Bowl. Patrick, Allen, Sterling Holmes with you, as we are every year at the Super Bowl. But there's somebody missing from the Super Bowl this year, Sterling. A lot of somebodies, and that's the Kansas City Chiefs. How gloomy is it for you to be here at the big game without Patrick Mahomes?
Honestly, semi-nice.
No,
I'm kidding. Like, let's be real though. It makes our life a little easier. I love when the Chiefs are playing in Super Bowls.
Yeah.
I love the feeling of the anxiety that permeates throughout you when the Chiefs are playing in the Super Bowl. But to an extent, it's nice to not have the anxiety, and I can sit back and relax to an extent and not worry about, okay, here's this, here's that, how they go up against the Eagles defensive line,
right,
how they beat the San Francisco running attack. Yes, I'm sad, but our largesse knows no bounds in Kansas City. We had to let someone else have an opportunity, and well, it's the Patriots yet again.
It was it's sort of funny to me, all the haters, all the Chiefs haters. If the Patriots win, they're getting what they deserve, right? Complaining about the Chiefs, saying that the NFL was rigged for the Chiefs. Fine, that's what you want. Now it's the Patriots again. So pick your poison. We'll be back next year. I mean, how do you feel? Like, you think this is an easy one-year turnaround for the Chiefs and they can be right back in it?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of issues with this team, but I think it's less roster-focused than I do schematic-based. Now, I know I've talked about this a lot on this show, scheme. This, to me, is the 2022 Kansas City Chiefs offense that is still being put out there, and that's why we see the ineptness at times. It's antiquated, it's outdated, but I do think with new voices, even Eric Bieniemy coming back, I know it's the same guy, it's getting the band back together to an extent, but also he went off and did his own thing in multiple places. Now, it didn't work everywhere, but it worked well in Chicago, and Ben Johnson, I think we can all agree, is a very talented offensive mind. The run game, where I think Eric Bieniemy can have the biggest impact on the little things between your ears, getting on the guys, making sure the little things are correct. Maybe look at the Chiefs wide receiver room. This is a small thing to bring up, but I think it's very important. When you had Eric Bieniemy here originally, did you see wide receivers leaving the locker room after losses? Did you see wide receivers purposely not talking to the media and even smiling and laughing as they left because they know what they were doing?
Yeah.
You didn't see that. We saw accountability. Now, Juju is accountable, but you would see Rashee Rice, Xavier Worthy, Hollywood Brown, list goes on and on. I know Travis Kelce falls into that mix to an extent, but when you talk about the wide receiver rooms and the issues they had that plagued them all year long, I'm not asking for them to sit down and have one-on-ones after every single moment and everything wrong they did, but at least a little bit of accountability would have been nice to see. I don't think they do that with Eric Bieniemy.
No, he's not going to let him get away with that. And I'm jacked about the fact that EB, who's already a running back guy, got to spend some time in the Ben Johnson offense because his offense has run the ball really well. Obviously, we know what he did in Detroit. You have great backs there, but then he goes to Chicago, and you got two backs who DeAndre Swift has his best season as a pro. Kyle guy comes out of nowhere and has a really productive season, steamrolling people out there. So I'm excited. I think Eric Bieniemy's a smart guy. He's going to have absorbed things from these different systems as well, bring those to Kansas City. How much do you think the staleness with the offense? I know a lot of people are saying it's antiquated, but how much of it do you blame on the fact that there's no real threat of this team running the ball? So if they actually had a running game that was a threat, does even maybe some of their antiquated or old standby offensive plays work a little bit better?
Sure, that's 100% a fair point. Now, I think there's levels to this. You're not going to get Saquon Barkley. You're not getting Jahmyr Gibbs, Bijan Robinson. That's not where I think you need the Kyle Minogue guys. You need the DeAndre Swifts of the world. You having the worst, probably the worst running back, especially starting running back, but a bottom 5 out of 60 guys, Isaiah Pacheco, right?
Last year. Yeah, he's not.
It's just not going to work.
Yeah.
Kareem Hunt has a role on this team. I have way less issue with Kareem Hunt, really no issue with Kareem Hunt. Rashard Smith has never got a realistic opportunity. I think at times he's a little bit of a tweener. Where does he fit in? I don't think you're giving him 15, 20 touches a game. But the point still remains, there was no talent. I'm not saying you have to have Jeremiah Love and draft that guy, but can you bring someone in who's at minimum a league average starter? Can you sign Kenneth Walker? Can you sign ETN? Could you even go after maybe a little bigger name in Breece Hall, right? And we had this conversation many a time. I'm glad I'm on the right side of history here, Patrick, after we argued about this ad nauseum. I'm glad. Aren't you glad the Chiefs didn't trade for Breece Hall now at this point? Aren't you glad? Can we get in a public apology, please?
No, because if they
they go 12-5 with Breece Hall.
If they get Breece Hall, maybe their season turns out differently.
Come on,
Patrick Mahomes doesn't get injured.
Come on,
they are in the playoffs.
This is what I deal with: delusion. The
Chiefs needed a running back. They didn't get a running back. They should have got a running back. In hindsight, if we knew the season was going to turn out this way, no, I want the pick and then get him in free agency. But at the time, I was right. You might be right now, but at the time, I was right. Before we move on, we got to let you guys know one of our great partners here at Underdog. Football's biggest game is right around the corner. We're here right now covering the big game, and Underdog is the place to play if you want to get in on all the action. If you're not on Underdog yet, you're in luck because new customers score a $75 in fantasy bonus entries when you make your first $5 fantasy entry. So playing Underdog is easy. You hear us talk about it all season long. You just pick whether your favorite players or plays you like, whatever, are going to be higher or lower on certain stats like rushing yards, receiving yards, touchdowns, things like that. And if you get your answers right, you could win up to 5,000 times your cash. Plus, there's a new promo code dropping daily in the app. So if you like making picks and winning money, Underdog is the place to play for the big game. We love it. Here's what I'm going with for the big game. Give me Drake May higher than half a rushing and receiving touchdown.
Ooh.
He's got a little bit of a bum shoulder right now. They might want to pick their spots with how much he slings it. I think he's going to rely on his legs, which was a huge weapon for them in the playoffs. So give me higher than that half a rushing receiving touchdown. And then Sam Darnold. Talked to him last night at opening night here at the big game. Really like him. He seems cool, calm, collected. Doesn't seem like this moment's too big for him. So give me also higher than 230.5 passing yards for him. I'm excited for him. I think maybe he gets it done. So what are you waiting for? Download the app today and use our promo code Arrowhead Addict to score $75 and fantasy bonus entries when you play your first $5 on fantasy. That's promo code Arrowhead Addict. Underdog, make picks, win money. Must be 18 plus, 19 plus in Alabama, Nebraska, 19 plus in Colorado for some games, 21 plus in Arizona, Massachusetts, and Virginia, and present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. See assets.underdogfantasy.com/web/play and get terms. _DFS_.html for details. Offer not valid in Maryland, Michigan, New Jersey, New York, Ohio, and Pennsylvania. If you're concerned with your play, call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.ncbgambling.org. In New York, call the 24/7 Hope line at 818-778-HOPE New York or text HOPE New York to 8467369.
And the plane crashed.
You know what? This guy was all over me in my peripheral vision. I need those like old people glasses, you know, the big black ones. That
you're like a horse blind.
Yeah,
You need a horse blind.
Yeah, you got to me. But I think it was a pretty good read.
The first 90% was elite. It
was good.
It was
It
top
good.
tier.
I was
and
feeling myself, and you got in my head. And
it's like Josh Allen in the playoffs.
90%
of the
Josh
time,
Allen
it's great, but the last 10% keeps him from winning.
Came out like Superman, and then that was it. But let's get back to the Chiefs. So I wanted to touch on Matt Nagy. We thought maybe he was going to get a head coaching job. It doesn't work out for him, which is a bummer. I feel bad for Matt Nagy. But he does land in New York to be the offensive coordinator for John Harbaugh. Now, we know Harbaugh is from the Andy Reid coaching tree. Harbaugh actually said, I read an article about how when Harbaugh got fired by the Ravens, he called Andy and said, hey, you have any advice for me? He still looks up to Andy as a mentor. And Andy said, sometimes change can be a good thing. And if you think about it, Andy Reid, longtime coach in Philadelphia, doesn't even have as much success as Harbaugh had with the Ravens, had won a Super Bowl, gets fired, goes to Kansas City, has the best stretch by far of his career, cements himself as a Hall of Famer. So now Matt Nagy gets taken over there to New York. Cam Scadaboo, Jackson Dart. How big of an opportunity is this for Nagy to kind of shake off the reputation that he has, fairly or unfairly, as not being a good coach?
Yeah, I think it's unfair. I think the whole thing is slightly hilarious when the Chiefs were even having a great offense with Eric Bieniemy. Bieniemy was the scapegoat.
Yep.
Matt Nagy, we know he doesn't call the plays. We know it's Andy's offense, yet he is still the guy being the scapegoat.
Yeah.
It's what it is. It comes with the territory because when the offense looks good, well, guess what? You were the guy getting promoted. A lot of time, and it got him promoted one time. Doug Peterson got a head coaching job out of it. And I will also point out, I've said this before, and I'll say it again, I think Matt Nagy is one of those guys who's actually a better head coach than as a coordinator. I think he's better, what we saw with the Bears, than we've seen as an OC. When he was with the Bears, you go 34-31 with that organization, that team at the time. Mitchell Trubisky, not your guy, 1 year of Justin Fields. I think we look back and actually we say that's a pretty damn good job. Yeah, this is a good opportunity for him. We'll see what he can do, a young quarterback. Cam Scadaboo looks like a pretty good piece at running back. Malik Neighbors, right? We'll see if they bring back Wan'Dale Robinson. But it should be a chance for him to call plays now.
Right.
Should be a chance
he needs to make that leap, I think.
For him to branch out from underneath the umbrella that is just Andy's offense. We'll find out. A little surprised he didn't get a head coaching job to an extent with the amount of openings that were out there.
10 openings.
But also, a lot of teams went with a younger guy. You look at Mike LaFleur, not Matt, Mike LaFleur getting a gig. You see Clint Kubiak getting a head coaching opportunity. So I think some teams made the choice of, do we go with a rerun, a retread, or try something new and young, try and find the next McVay or Kevin O'Connell, and they chose the latter.
Some of these guys are going to fail. Most of them will probably fail. It's really hard in the NFL. And I think for Matt Nagy, the thing that I'm excited about for him is the Bears is his first head coaching job. He has some success, gets to the playoffs, has a kicker doink, right? He gets Mitchell Trubisky to a Pro Bowl, and then things kind of go south from there. But I read an article about how he did this, I forget what they called it, but he had this third party call 100 people that he worked with at every organization he's at and give the good and the bad. And then they did and then she sat with him for hours and went through all the negative things people said about working with him, positive too. That is a really scary and hard thing to do for anybody, but in particular for a leader who's, it's probably generally a pretty confident guy.
What would you say about me? I know it's terrifying.
Yeah,
I care too much.
Yeah,
I'm too good looking.
You're
too confident.
Your mustache is intimidating. But I think for Matt Nagy, that shows incredible growth, and that he's going to be a good leader, because that's the hardest thing to do, is self-scout, face the things that you aren't good at, because you want to be the best version of yourself. And maybe it didn't go as well as he had hoped in Chicago. But I think if you're the kind of person that can do that, it shows that you're capable of change and improvement.
Yeah.
So I would not be shocked if he has a great success. He's going to the Giants. He's going to have Harbaugh there. We know how steady he is as a coach. He wins. They've got young talent, like you said, Malik Neighbors, Cam Scadaboo, Jackson Dart. I mean, the table's set for him to have a lot of success there. And if he has 2 or 3 years and that offense is cooking, he'll be a head coach again in the NFL. So good luck to Matt Nagy. Back to the Chiefs, we were talking about the running back position. Do you have any, I know the Super Bowl's not even over yet, but do you have any draft crushes already?
Jeremiah Love, I like you. This is not a diss against you, my good sir. I don't want the Chiefs to draft a running back at 9. I don't want that. I think this is your chance to get a premium position and a running back at 9. To me, there's more value at other positions. Even for example, let's say you did get Breece Hall or Kenneth Walker. Let's say it's even $12 million a year. Well, how much is an elite edge rusher? $35 million, $30 million plus a year?
Very expensive.
Right?
Yeah.
And so just even the cost value analysis of getting, let's say, Bain, maybe he's gone. Let's just say Bain, though, hypothetically at 9 versus Jeremiah Love at 9, right? Well, if you have the edge rusher, well, you can spend $12 million on a running back in free agency and be money. Or you draft the running back and now you need to spend 30 to 35 plus million on an edge rusher to get the same value. Now, again, a lot of times running backs can probably hit the ground running a little quicker. They might be able to make an impact in their first season more so than rookie edge rusher. I get that thought process there. But just for me, the positional value is worth the risk. Even wide receiver, I would take a Carnell Tate or a Malachi Lemon over that. Just because I think wide receivers at 25, 30 million versus running back, just the value to me isn't there to draft an RB at 9.
I'm with you. Cam Scadaboo was a 4th round pick. It was a deep running back class, but you can find really good players at that position later in the draft. What do you think about moving?
Malachi Lemon. I said Malachi. Sorry.
That's okay.
I'm dumb. I'm not that dumb. Yeah. I'm dumb enough to break my ankle doing laundry. It's a young man's game, Patrick.
It is a young man's game.
A young man's game.
So the Chiefs are in a unique position because they're at 9, which is not, it's high. But some of the really top-end talent could be gone. You mentioned Bain. There's a couple good pass rushers. Are you in favor of the Chiefs moving up to really guarantee they get that blue chip guy?
No, because I don't mean to stop you so quickly, but I think there's so many guys at so many different positions. They'll get a guy that makes sense. There's only going to be one quarterback take, and we know that. Realistically, it's going to be Mendoza. Yeah. I don't think anyone's jumping up into that top range. You have so many guys. You have 3 wide receivers, I think, in the top 9. You have 3 edge rushers in that top 9. You have a safety who's elite in that top 9. You have maybe Jeremiah Love gets drafted before then in that top 9. And if all those guys are taken, then you still are left with maybe, let's say, Peter Woods, a interior pass rusher from Clemson, who is an impact guy. I just feel like they're going to have a guy that's a productive player. If they were at 13 or 12, I'd probably argue or agree with you and say, maybe moving up would make sense. I think at 9, there's such a litany of players that can be impact guys. This is probably about a cut of about 10, actually, that you really look at, about 10 guys, maybe 11, probably 10 guys. So I don't think moving up is, in my opinion, the smartest decision when you can still have a pick at 40, right? That's your second-round draft pick. Right. You have a higher third round. I mean, I don't think it makes a lot of sense.
I think it depends on how they grade these guys out, right? Like, if they're at 9, really technically they have the 8th pick, right? Because Mendoza's going to go 1, so they have the 8th pick of the players that they would draft. Do they have high first-round grades on 8 guys? If they don't, then they might want to try to move up a little bit, because otherwise they should move back. If they have a bucket of guys that there's no difference to them in talent level between number 9 and say number 16.
Sure.
Move back. You got to be right. You got to be right about these things. But if I don't know, man, if Bain's there at 5 or something, and it costs you a 3rd next year to go up and get him, you think?
Yes.
Just to go up a few spots?
Yes, that high, yes.
We'll have to get out the board, the Jimmy Johnson.
I get it. You want an
calculator.
X factor.
Yeah.
And speaking of X factors, I'm talking factor, baby. Okay, so factor is something that I love. It's been a big part of my life as a man who's very busy. I do radio. Yeah, I know people are laughing at my boot, okay? You're laughing at the boot. I put it up here. This is my X factor. This is my hindrance. Factor helps me. You break your foot, you can't go to the store, you're struggling to limp around a grocery store, Factor delivered to your front door. Delicious, nutritious, and extremely quick to put in. 2 minutes, all you need, and it is outstanding. A plethora of flavors for anything that you may want. I love all their beef bowls. I love all their chicken ones. All the Mexican food they have to
Taco
me
bowls
is
are
the
great.
taco bowls.
Yeah.
Absolutely outstanding. So, if you want to eat healthier, you are a very busy person. Let's say your lunch break's not very long. Say you hate cooking. You know, I don't mind cooking. It's the cleaning that sucks. Now with Factor, super, super easy. It is made by chefs, dietitians, and delivered to your door. So whether you want high protein, calorie smart, Mediterranean, you name it, they have it. So what you need to do, head to factormeals.com/Arrowhead50 off and use code Arrowhead50 off to get 50% off your first Factor box plus free breakfast for 1 year. Offer valid only for new Factor customers with code and qualifying auto-renewing subscription purchase. Make healthier eating easy with Factor. I love Factor.
I'm telling you, man, with the kid, being able to just pop something in is a godsend. It really is. You get more quality time. We don't have it every night. You know, we like to cook and stuff like that too, but the time saver with something like that, give it a try. The food's good. The other thing I like about it, and not to just drag the ad on to the podcast,
It's delicious,
is the
though.
variety.
Yes.
It's like I go to the refrigerator, you know, I got 6 meals in there. I'm like, what do I want?
Yeah.
You know, it's not the same old thing. It's like I go Mexican, or I tried something new, maybe a little steak. Check it out. Support the show. Use the code. We appreciate you. All right, so I think on the draft that I would like them to get that X Factor player because they're never going to be this close again. So, again, and it's about their evaluation, because what do I know, right? I have an opinion, but they're the professionals.
You know cardigans.
I do know cardigans. They're the professionals at this, right? So they have to be right. If they don't think they're going to get an X Factor player at 9 based on their evaluations, I want them to go up and get it, because the cost, even if it's a little steep, it's a hell of a lot. Like they'll have no chance if they start winning again and they're back in the 30s. No chance. Chris Jones isn't getting any younger. They need to get another premium pass rusher. If they believe in one of these guys, I think they should go get them.
Sure.
I think it could transform the defense, because they have good players on defense, but they're just being asked to do too much in the back end.
Again, I agree. I just think there's so many guys. Again, I probably have 10 guys that I think can fit Kansas City.
Yeah, and
so
they
for
do
that
stay
reason,
put, right? Yeah.
For that reason, I'm team. Don't give up extra draft capital, which will be fairly hefty. When I think there's may not be the exact. I mean, even if Caleb Downs, I think he's gonna be gone. Caleb Downs is, I don't want to say Eric Berry because that's a high task. Let's say Kyle Hamilton.
He's in that, he could be. Like
Kyle Hamilton territory of a
his
game-changing
ceiling
safety.
is on, it could be anything.
And his
he's
floor
fantastic.
is extremely high.
Yeah. He's an impact player, I think. God, I would love to see him in a Spags defense. Yeah. I'd rather have a pass rusher.
No, I'm with you.
Yeah, but him in a Spags defense, because watching him in Ohio State, he can play anywhere. He can line up and be cornerback. He can get in the box, play linebacker. He can do anything.
You tired of Shamari Connor in the slot? Here you go.
Yes.
Caleb Downs.
Caleb Downs. He's got great instincts, good flow, sideline to sideline speed. He's a thumper. Like, he's tremendous, man. I'm excited. We got plenty of time to break down the draft.
Chumbawamba?
Chumbawamba?
He's a thumper.
A thumper. Yeah. Our guy Price Carter on arrowheadaddict.com, he's a maniac. 100 scouting reports he's doing in 100 days. He's just in the lab. So if you're trying to catch up on these guys, there's lots of good draft material out there for you to learn about the players, but you want to read Price's articles on Arrowhead Addict, because he's looking at everything through the lens of the Chiefs. So he'll be able to place, okay, maybe they're a good player, but are they going to be a good fit in the schemes? It's fantastic. So make sure you check it out.
You know what we should have done? I have a really good idea. We're going to go off the script because it wouldn't be Arrowhead Addict if we didn't do this.
Yeah, right.
What we should have done is when I landed, we should have taken a camera to follow me around, but no one can help me. Like I have to find my way around San Francisco and just the video. It's like Lost in the Jungle or like one of the, like it's like Survivor, but it's just me in a big city being an idiot. I walked miles on this bloody stump of a foot trying to find where to get a credential, try to find my hotel. You know what's not fun? This, walking around. And I think that's what you should do next time is just give me no directions, throw me out in the wild, and let me see if I can survive.
You got to be careful because I know you're not doing well with inclines right now. And we're in San Francisco.
No hills
here. Have you seen some of these
very
hills?
Flat.
You be careful. Just stay away from laundry baskets. Let's talk Patrick Mahomes. Do you think he's going to be ready for the start of the season?
I don't. It's such a hard question to answer. My thought is you expect him to be back week 5. Let's just say if he gets back week 1, lovely. Week 3, outstanding. But let's just say hypothetically, week 5, right? If that's the case, you need a good backup quarterback. I think either way, you want a good backup quarterback just because throughout the offseason, OTAs, training camp, who's going to be throwing the guys the ball? It's not like Patrick's going to be out there. Even if he's back week 1, he's not out there letting it rip and full health for OTAs and training camp. I think backup quarterback is important. I think Gardner Minshew, I know people might laugh at me for this. I still think he's a guy the Chiefs should take a look at bringing back.
And he didn't tear his ACL or whatever.
Which was weird. We knew that a month and a half ago, and they tried to say it as breaking news. Like, we knew this.
Yeah.
We knew this.
Yeah.
But I think I'll take another look at Gardner Minshew. You're not going to spend a lot of money. There's just so many other areas in the team that money needs to be spent, and I think Gardner Minshew can be a cheap guy as a backup quarterback that you can trust. He has started a lot of games. You're not getting Jameis. Jameis won the Giants. I don't think moving on from him because they want Jameis to help be a mentor. For Jackson Dart.
Locker room guy.
You're giving him draft capital to bring in a backup quarterback, and you have a relatively high backup quarterback that you're paying now. I think Gardner Minshew is probably the guy I would imagine is back next year. But yeah, as much as I want Patrick to be back, and I expect him to be back almost week 1, I'm holding out this little emotional hedge that it's going to be more week 3, 4, 5.
So here's one thing that I haven't heard anybody really talk about much, and I'm really curious to hear your opinion on it because it's been bouncing around in my head. Everybody in Chiefs Kingdom, Chiefs Twitter, is talking about how much they want the offense to change, new ideas. It's antiquated, it's stale, all this stuff. And I tend to agree that it needs to be freshened up a little bit. However, one thing I haven't heard anybody talk about is the fact that Patrick Mahomes is injured. And so if he comes back, even if he gets there just for the start of the season, or like you said, he comes back in week 5. How dangerous would it be to make major changes to the offense when he's not going to have OTAs, he's not going to have training camp, he's going to come back during the season? Is it better to keep things like just to improve the players on the roster, improve the execution, maybe make some like the running game, but like not do some crazy overhaul because it's already going to be difficult for him to adjust coming back without having all of that practice time? You're going to try to be throwing a bunch of a whole new playbook at him?
No. Hate it. I don't care. He's so smart. He's so talented. He'll figure it out. Whether it's more under center, whether it's less RPOs, he's a smart guy. And I know he can't do a lot of those things, but he'll have the playbook. And let's be real, he'll have a lot of input on the playbook even while being injured.
Sure, but what about the reps? Like, he's smart. He's going to understand the plays, but like having the reps doing that, like if they're going to do a bunch more under center, right?
Sure.
Having all of those reps,
now,
that's what concerns me.
That might be the one that I would agree with. I think fewer RPOs, for example.
Right.
That's not going to be an issue. I think the only one we can talk about with a legit thought process to me is under center. I think that's where we really have the conversation of when he comes back, how does he feel? He hasn't done a lot of this before in his career. It's going to be a little unique and new for him. Hell, I'm sure Creed Humphrey hasn't done a lot of that either snapping-wise. A lot of that has been obviously out of shotgun. So
it'll take care of those low snaps from Creed.
It'll help. You can't roll those back.
Yeah.
No, I get where you're coming from, but I don't want that to be the deciding factor of, well, we can't change because he's injured. That to me seems like an excuse.
Yeah, I just don't want there to be another lost season where, like, especially like say he comes back in week 5 and they're like 2-3 or 3-2 or something like that, and then it's like it takes him 4 games to kind of get back in his groove, and so they drop a couple games.
I guess here, real quick, then I'll throw it to you. Would you rather have let's just say hypothetically, a 10-7 season with the offense being the exact same as it was this year, or them trying something completely new?
What's the result of the season if they try something completely new?
Well, it's both 10-7. I mean,
Both 10-7.
We saw this year wasn't like that. It was going to be a great year. Things weren't going to change. They may have gone 9-8 if he stayed healthy the entire season, right? So this is me being fair, saying it'd probably be the exact same result. It wasn't going to be worse if they would have changed the scheme this year.
Yeah, I think it just depends on how much change it is and how much it impacts his rhythm with everybody else, right? Like, we know that they're going to probably overhaul the roster quite a bit. There's going to probably be a bunch of new running backs. They're probably still going to add some receivers. They're making some big changes to the coaching staff. So how much time does it take Patrick to acclimate to all that? Can he learn on the job, essentially, develop that, and still win? And I do think a big part of the issue that they had last year was a talent issue. I think that we overestimated how talented they were a little bit. And like Xavier Worthy didn't make the jump that we were hoping he was going to make. Plus they dealt with injuries. The Rashee Rice, who knows if he's even going to be on the team.
Sure.
Hollywood Brown didn't work out the way that we thought it was. So even though the offense had its staleness and it was predictable at times, I think if you have better personnel, more equipped to execute what they want to execute, they're a playoff team next year.
I agree a little bit with the personnel, with guys not taking a step forward. I still think that they were talented enough. They still had a top 5 tight end, even at his age, in Travis Kelce.
Yeah.
They still probably had a top 7-ish offensive line in football, right? They still had, I think we all agree, Rashee Rice is a good wide receiver. I mean, he came back and looked good. Even
then
after
he kind of faded out.
He kind of faded out. What do you chalk that up to? Again, I think that's a lot more schema. My biggest knock on Xavier Worthy wasn't even just him. I think they used him incorrectly. So I think Xavier Worthy's a good player, by the way. You know my thoughts, everyone who listened to this in the draft night, I was all in on Lad McConkey, but I still think Xavier Worthy's a really good player. I think he's being misused. If they would have used Xavier Worthy in the Hollywood Brown role, in that intermediate route, and Tyquan Thornton in the Xavier Worthy route, I think we're talking about a much different offense right there. That's the same personnel. That's just different schemes and usage. That's why I pushed back a little bit on the personnel, because I actually think they had enough guys. They had enough talent to get it done. I just think that a lot of times they were miscast and misused this season.
I like Thornton, man. Like, he can win down the field a little bit. He's got a little bit of, I know he's got a slight frame, but he's taller. And he went and fought for those balls and made some really difficult catches. And I know some of the advanced metrics on him weren't great on like a route-to-route basis, but he made big plays for them when they didn't have Rashee Rice, when Xavier Worthy was out and injured, and he helped them in some of those games. I'd love to see him back a second year in the offense, and he's got that connection with Patrick Mahomes. So we'll see, man. Just thinking about having another lost season, it gives me a little bit of a weird feeling in my belly. And that makes it a good time to talk about Goldbelly.
I was wondering how you're going to transition into that. You know what?
Yeah.
I like it, okay?
I'm a dad now.
This
I got
season
dad
gave
jokes.
you a tummy ache, but
It
this
gave me-
won't.
Yes, Goldbelly will not. Have you heard of Goldbelly? It is this amazing site. I order from it all the time. You've heard me talk about it on the show, where you can get the most iconic foods, famous foods from restaurants all across the United States, and it's perfect for game day. You have Valentine's Day coming up, or anything else you have going on. You've heard me talk about how I ordered the Christmas pie cakin from Goldbelly for Christmas a couple years ago. It's buttercream frosting, and it's pecan pie stacked on red velvet, stacked on like cheesecake. Oh my God. It was unbelievable. 3 pies in one. This is the kind of thing you can get on Gold. I got a whole brisket from them a couple of weeks ago. It was tremendous.
Well, they have Joe's Barbecue. They have
Everything's on
If
there.
you want KC Barbecue, they have KC
Yeah.
Barbecue.
Yeah. So they'll ship to you. You can get Chicago deep dish pizza from Lou Malnati's, the original Buffalo wings from Anchor Bar in Buffalo, Guy Fieri's unbelievable trash can nachos. I got Shady McCoy ball security there. Legendary Franklin's Barbecue, straight from Texas, right to your door. And with Valentine's Day coming up, they also have great gifts like award-winning dinners from Peter Luger's Steakhouse, world-famous macaroons from Lottery.
You're classy.
Yeah, and even the exact wedding cake served at JFK's wedding to Jackie O. Like, not a facsimile, like it's the cake. They saved it. It was really big, and that's a joke. Don't get mad at me, Goldbelly. So yeah, I love Goldbelly. Check it out. Whether it's for the big game or an unforgettable experience with friends, or you want to impress loved ones on Valentine's Day, go to goldbelly.com, get 20% off your first order with promo code Arrowhead. That's goldbelly.com, code Arrowhead for 20% off your first order. And I want to tell you guys, this is a plea from me to you. Goldbelly sends us some of this food so that we can properly endorse it. I really want to keep them as a sponsor. So please use our code Arrowhead, because I feel like after a few months, maybe I can get another brisket. And I don't live in Kansas City, so I need my meat.
And then I get the Chicago deep dish pizza. The
You get the deep
Illuminati's
dish pizza.
was.
We should just send each other, get some dry ice. I'll send you deep dish. You send me KC Barbecue.
I'll think about it.
Yeah.
I'll think about it.
Yeah.
I prefer Goldbelly just do it because I don't know if I trust your packing ability. No, honestly, I don't trust my packing ability.
No. Yeah.
I'm going to handle dry ice.
I'll hurt
I
myself.
can't figure out how to find my credentials to get places.
Yeah, the last thing you need to be doing
They
is
kept
carrying
saying
heavy
north
stuff
side,
around.
and I'm like, just tell me left or right, sir. Where's the north part? Go north. Left or right, sir?
Yeah,
what is
I don't
this,
know. How am I supposed to know?
Am I Lewis and Clark?
You have a compass on
am I
you?
looking at the sun? And sir, I woke up about 4:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
My plane had to get deboarded because maintenance issues.
Right.
I'm exhausted, sir. I don't know north, west, east right now.
Yeah.
Left or right?
Yep. All right, let's talk about this game a little bit. Who you got in this one? Seahawks, Patriots.
So this is a weird one for me, and I was talking to Field Yates about this from ESPN the other day, and it's funny, we're about lockstep, him and myself.
Yeah.
We both are saying publicly we're going with the Seahawks in a close one, probably winning by 3 points. But both of us thought the exact same thing. We're trying to find a way to talk ourselves into the Patriots, but we don't want to talk ourselves into it necessarily. But we keep finding excuses to be like, well, I think Drake May has been played better.
Yeah.
This New England defense is really good. They have weapons. They have a really good offensive line in New England. Obviously, we think Mike Vrabel's a hell of a head coach. But part of us is also sitting here going, everyone thinks the Seahawks, or majority of people think the Seahawks. And when everyone's on one side, part of us goes, well, I don't know if I want to be with 90% of the folk right here. This seems a little scary. That seems to be bad news bears. So I think I am going Seahawks. But part of me is still, there's still a little part of me that goes, I see Drake May balling out and they find a way to win.
It's interesting. The Seahawks have been the best team all year. So nobody's been able to stop Jackson Smith and Jigba, and I think that's honestly the key to this game.
Yeah.
Can the Patriots, two things. Can they stop Jackson Smith and Jigba? Because after that, you're not terrified of obviously they've got Cooper Kupp, later stage Cooper Kupp.
Like Jake Bobo?
Jake Bobo. Like, you're not terrified of
AJ
the other
Barner?
options. They're not, you know what I mean? They're not like the Lions with Amon-Ra St. Brown and Jamison Williams, so I think they need to stop JSN or at least slow him down. They like to put him in the backfield a lot. It's a problem that creates matchup nightmares. And then they have to be able to run the ball.
Yeah.
And I know they trust Ramondre Stevenson, but they hardly use Travion Henderson in the AFC Championship game. And I think this is the game to, you got Drake May. He's been great. He's a young guy. First Super Bowl. We saw even Patrick Mahomes was
Darnold's
terrible.
first Super Bowl too.
But he's been to a Super Bowl with the 49ers. So he didn't play.
Yeah.
Right. He didn't play. But this the circus not
Sure.
new to him. Right. So I think if they lean into that running game with both of those guys and the dual threat, they can really get something going.
I agree with you, by the way, and I don't love doing it. It's more fun to argue with you, but I do agree with you, Patrick. I do think if you get a larger smattering of Trevion Henderson, because he is your big play threat.
Yeah.
He can bust off the long one, right? And if he gets a 40-yard, 50-yard gain on the ground, if he can break off a 35-yard touchdown, you like those odds more than, let's say, Ramondre Stevens, who's going to be a little more consistent, also a good pass catcher. I'm with you, though. I think if they can run the football, which is funny in 2026, we're going back to talking about running the ball. I think, though, you're onto something, especially with Trevion Henderson being the more explosive guy.
Yeah, and Ramondre, he's had fumbling issues.
Yeah.
So if I'm Seattle, I am punching, because I do think the Patriots, that's going to go to the game plan, is they're going to want to pound the rock. I think they're going to run Ramondre more than they run Trevion Henderson. He's a rookie. And I think despite that he's had fumbling issues in ball security in the past, they trust Ramondre Stevenson, the blocking, all that stuff. And I think if I'm Seattle, that's what I want to try to take advantage of. See if I can get that ball out, cause a big turnover. And then I don't think the Patriots can afford any kind of special teams mistakes in this one either.
No, I think you're right. I think it's the margin for victory or for error is going to be smaller for New England. I think Seattle can make a couple mistakes and be okay.
Yeah.
But if New England is losing the turnover battle, I don't love their chances.
But normally we're here, we're the Chiefs are here usually every year, and so our heart is with the Chiefs. Is there a player like that you identify with in this one that you're just kind of like, as a neutral observer, like, you know who I'd like to see win a Super Bowl? Like, is it, or a coach? Like, I've interviewed Vrabel a couple times already. Great guy. He's an old Ohio State guy, so like I kind of like that for him. Darnold, great story. Is there anybody that you identify with that has you like leaning one way with your heart?
Booty. I love Booty. Big fan of Booty.
I like Big Booty.
I don't think he's even playing. I think Kayshon Booty's out. But I actually was high on Kayshon Booty. That's not the reason. I just wanted to make a joke, obviously. No, I don't think I care. I think I'm probably leaning Seattle as far as the heart. The reason why, tired of New England. They had so many Super Bowls. They don't really need another one. It'd be kind of cool to see. I think Seattle obviously had some success too, but it's been a little longer.
They can avenge that last Super Bowl loss.
I will say it's kind of funny that we're just sitting here, and if New England wins, you kind of want them to an extent, because then it just proved that Chiefs, New England only in the AFC, that no one else has a chance. Just been New England and KC.
Yeah. But
I can't do that. I don't want them to be back on the high horse this soon. They don't. Come on, they don't deserve it.
They don't. No, and neither do we. Like, to be fair, as from like a neutral point of view,
it's been 365 days, Patrick, from playing in a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Ish.
Way too long.
Way too long.
Yeah. People will say we don't deserve it, but Patrick Mahomes is everything that's good about football, in my opinion. So the sooner that he's back in the spotlight in the Super Bowl, the better. You want to get out of here? We got the media party tonight. That's going to be fun, and then we'll have to look. We're going to be a little bit next week's shows for me and Sterling. It might not be our best work. We're going to be tired.
I'm tired now.
Yeah, that's fair. It's a long week here.
Go ice my broken stump of a foot.
But once this is over, it's time to kick it into a new gear, because now it's Chiefs season again. Once the football season is over, free agency is right around the corner. The draft is right around the corner, and you're gonna take a family vacation, and you're gonna blink, and we're gonna be kicking off a new season of Kansas City Chiefs football. So you got to keep it arrowheadaddict.com. Matt Connor, the gang over there, Price, Christian, Stacy, everybody, they're going to have you up to date on everything that's going on with the Chiefs. You need to be listening to Sterling on all his Arrowhead Addict shows on 810 Sports in Kansas City. And of course, you need to make sure you tune in next Thursday for me and the OG Hour, if I can find a co-host, which is a struggle some weeks. Verderam's a flake. Best has always got we need to call Sterling more often.
But then you're going to hear from me three straight days in a row, and no one wants to hear that.
That's tough.
No one wants to hear that.
All right, we're going to, let's do final score prediction before we go.
I'm going to roll with 20-17, a little lower scoring, and I will say Seattle. I think I'm still going to go with Seattle, 20-17.
I'm going to take Seattle 24-20. Sam Darnold rewrites his entire career narrative in the big game. All right, thank you so much, everybody. Thank you for supporting our show. Make sure you check out the link in the description if you want to become a member of the Arrowhead Addict podcast. Now is a great time to do that. For Sterling Holmes, for producer Joanne, I'm Patrick Allen. We'll see you next week. But until then, as always, go Chiefs.